Welcome to the Success Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Christian Evans, and this podcast is about helping improve your relationship with diet and exercise to achieve success in your fitness journey. In today's show, we have a special guest, Lionell Dixon. Lionell has lost over 150 pounds. In doing so, he's also helped inspire me to use the Jacob's Ladder. He's legit the first person I've ever seen use that machine, and it just intrigued me from that day forward. He's also a film director and producer, producing his own film, Obesity, America's Other Enemy. Success Fitness family, please welcome Mr. Lionell Dixon.
Thank you.
So, Lionell, what's going on just in your neck of the woods? Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Tell us what inspired you on to actually go on your weight loss journey. Let us all know where you're from. Again, how much weight did you lose over what period of time? Anything else you want the Success Fitness family to know about you.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on your podcast. It's been a while. We've been going back and forth, for a long period of time about, getting me on here. So I want to, say that it's an honor to be on here, chopping it up with you, and building as we should be doing, especially on this Juneteenth holiday, because we could be out gangbanging, doing any type of crazy things, that's not productive. But so a little bit about me is, first of all, I grew up here in South Jersey. I've been living here for all of my life, born and raised in South Jersey. And, grew up in a single parent home, whatever. My mom, raised me, my brother, and my little sister. And, just a struggle, common story that you unfortunately would get from many Black American families, here living in the United States. The father, absent, although disclaimer, like with me and my father, we have a better relationship now, better than ever. Mm-hmm. But, when we're talking about history, he was absent or whatever. So my mother raised me the best she could. I'm the oldest of three. I have a younger brother and a younger sister. And, I kind of struggled like with my weight early on, from the psychological aspect of it to everything else. And my weight actually kind of bounced, back and forth when I was younger. But for the most part, I was overweight. And when I graduated high school, because I remember going into high school, I think in 99 or 98 or something like that, going to high school, I was probably about 240 pounds or whatever, which is still heavy, especially at my height. Back then, I think I was probably like 5'7" or maybe 5'8" or something like that.
Right.
So what I am now, but at 240 pounds, that's, pretty heavy. And I remember graduating high school, I was heavier than that. Now, at that time, I didn't know exactly how much I weighed, but I do know that probably about a year after I graduated high school, a year or so, maybe like 2004 or something like that, I found the courage to step on the scale and look. At some point, I found the courage to look at the scale, step on the scale and look, and I was around 315.
Wow.
And of course, like I was heavier than that, but when at the time that I stepped on the scale was 315 or whatever. Right. So I think it was 2004. I went down to Florida on a little road trip where myself and three other friends, and I've been to South Beach for the first time. So I never actually ever went beyond probably Virginia or North Carolina or whatever from the East Coast, like going south, whatever. But when I seen palm trees and stuff, man, I was just amazed by that and all that other stuff. But anyway, being on South Beach, it's everything that you see in the movies on TV and all that other stuff. Everybody looks good. You see beach bodies everywhere, beautiful women, dudes getting it in on a beach, on vacation, or people just living that life. And one thing that I do remember about myself is that I felt that I didn't fit in. And just going through like just different transformational periods in my life, I've always said that I would do something, but never actually followed 100% through with it. I would probably start an idea and then stop, start an idea and stop. And I remember one time, you know, during my trip down in Florida, I was out by the pool with one of my good friends, childhood friends, Antonio, and we were just talking because we always talk life things and just different things like that. And I remember telling him, I was like, look, man, I really don't feel comfortable, you know, down here. Everybody looks good, and I'm like this big old guy or whatever that just felt like I just didn't belong. And I told him, I was like, look, you guys are going, out to the beach. Meanwhile, I'm staying here in a room, not going out, experience any of that life, the music and that whole thing. Although I did go a couple times, but most of the time I actually stayed in a hotel room because I was ashamed of my body. And there's actually a
Mm-hmm.
picture where you can see I'm wearing a big long white t-shirt, which was
Mm-hmm.
popular back during that time. And I had this hat and these big jeans. I think they were size um, 44, 45, or 46 or whatever.
Right.
I'm hot. So, but like, if anybody knows, about some of the psychological struggles when it comes to people that's dealing with obesity, is we like to try to hide ourselves from reality and try to, I guess, protect ourselves from the opinions of other people. So, in other words, me, I knew that I was fat. Like this point blank, there's no other word to describe it. I was fat. I was obese. I felt gross.
Right.
And in my opinion, I looked gross. But I would try to hide that by wearing bigger clothes.
Right.
So in that picture, you can see, the insecurities and stuff that I was going through, during that time. And I actually posed in a picture next to Sam Cassell too. Guy,
Mm-hmm.
him and his bodyguards rolled right past us on the
Right.
street, whatever. But anyway, that night, going back to that night by the pool with my friend, I told him, I was like, look, man, I'm gonna try something and hopefully it works, but I believe I'm serious this time. When we get back to Jersey, you know, I'm gonna hit the gym and but for the next 2 weeks, I'm just gonna eat whatever. I'm gonna try to get it out of my system, whatever. So anyway, get back to Jersey, and I did exactly what I said. Instead of riding back with them, actually, myself and my other friend, Carlos, we caught the plane back to Jersey. And that was
Right.
actually my first time ever being on a plane, but that 21-hour drive was too much. So anyway, we caught the plane back to Jersey. I got back to Jersey for another week. I ate whatever I wanted. I hit the gym, and I lost 30 pounds my first 30 days coming back from vacation.
Amazing.
Um, yeah, and then over the next year I lost 90 pounds. And just to speed up time, I gained a lot of that weight back,
Mm-hmm.
and I got back on track, not too long ago, probably 6 or 7 years ago. And I came down and, just totaled the weight loss altogether from where I remember recording myself or actually seeing myself, seeing a number on a scale, down to where I went to at the time of my competing was 150 pounds. So, but even in the mix of all that, I remember because I have two transformations, but I don't really like to break things down like that.
I
But
got you.
in the mix of all that, I remember telling people like, look, I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna write a book, I'm gonna probably do a documentary, I'm gonna be in the magazines and that whole thing, and people laugh. So what they didn't know was that I actually needed that on a psychological level to hold myself accountable. Because yeah, people could say, all right, well, you prove your haters wrong. I really don't give a damn about haters or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, to a certain degree, because at the end of the day, we all care about, to some degree, even if it's a small degree, we all care about what people think about us. Because you think about it, you post up something on social media and you're not getting a response, you're wondering like, what's going
Right.
on.
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, what I
Like, what
do
did I
wrong.
do wrong? Is it the wrong colors? Is it the wrong
Yeah,
caption? Did I use the right
yeah,
hashtag? Did I, am I showing too less of a skin or not enough or too
yeah,
much? Whatever. So I get it.
yeah. So absolutely. So, but yeah. So again, like we all do to a degree. However, me myself, I was more concerned about being inspired by what people were saying, or the deniability of my ability to actually follow through once again on something that I said that I would do. So I kind of used that as fuel for me to not so much prove them wrong, but to prove myself right. Yes, you can do this. Remember when you was here, now you're here, and it's possible for you, and that whole thing. So years later, I came out with a book. I co-authored another book. I've been featured in Men's Health, Men's Fitness, on 6ABC, like different print media, Healthy Black Men and Real Health Magazine, all these other print medias, magazines and TV, broadcasts or whatever. And but then I realized that, not only was was I a blessing to myself, but all in a mix, I actually became a blessing to other people, to the point to where I got so many emails and just so many different acknowledgments, in the form of emails and phone calls or text messages. Somehow, and sometimes like I would get text messages and I don't even know how people got my phone number, but people just thanking me for opening up and sharing my story
Right.
and some form of inspiration to them. So I just took that on, uh, uh, took that and kind of ran with that, train people virtually, train people, in the gym and traveled and spoke at events and stuff like that. And as you just stated a little bit ago, uh, this documentary is coming out featuring yourself, which again, I personally thank you for sharing your insight as well. But I believe that this documentary is going to be a game changer, and it's not just about me. It's really not
Right.
even about me, but it's about a topic that needs to be discussed and needs to
Right.
be spoken from a perspective of somebody that not just studied it and still continues to study obesity and health and fitness and stuff like that, but somebody that actually lived through it. So it's a difference
Right.
when you have somebody that comes off as, all right, well, I studied this, so you should do this, do that, and
Right.
third, versus, look, I live this. Like, I understand what you're going through right now. Um, this is going to happen, but try this because this kind of, I found that this kind of works. So maybe it might work for you. So speaking from a perspective of experience rather than sitting down
Kind of
and
just guessing what
yeah,
we see a lot of, me and Lionel, we been in contact with each other for years, right? This is like our first time that you all have seen us kind of, face to face via, Zoom. So thank God for technology. Um, First time that you've heard us just as well. But as he said, he's been on a lot of, media. And I remember seeing one of his posts. I can't remember where I was at, what social media site I was on, but he actually did have actual news company, a news segment, and I remember seeing him on this Jacob's Ladder. I'm like, what is that machine? And I remember at my gym we had it, and I was always intimidated by it. But he was like, he did it for more than I was counting, more than 15 seconds, right? So I'm like, all right, he did it for more than 15 seconds. And true enough, when you start, understanding how videos are edited and different things like that, you start to understand that, all right, that's a clip, but you have to understand at the same time that was B-roll, right? So just so obviously he had to have been doing it for a long time, is what I'm getting at. And I remember when I first got on the Jacob's Ladder, I said, okay, if he did it, this was part of his weight loss transformation. And mind you, I was still going through my weight loss transformation, even, during that time. So I'm like, all right, let me try to incorporate this. And once I got on that Jacob's Ladder, I literally thought I was going to die. I just felt everything come up in my chest, everything come up in my lungs, but it was just that visual representation of another man, another Black man, and somebody who actually was going through what I was going through at that time, but actually overcame it. You know, there's one thing to go through something with somebody that's cool, but when you go through something with somebody who has been there where you are currently and has surpassed that and actually gone to the mountaintop and it's there. I was just trying to get to there. So just with that inspiration right there, that actually helped me get over some hurdles and some detours that I was having even with myself, you know, at that time. And as you mentioned earlier, I recently filmed a segment for your documentary, Obesity, America's Other Enemy. What inspired you to create this documentary, and what would you like to see happen for those who watch it? And do you have a possible release date?
Yeah, so what inspired me to release this documentary is originally I was going to write a book just on this, but you know, when it comes to even documentaries, but when it comes to releasing books and stuff like that, there's a lot of references and stuff that you have to give. There's a bunch of research and stuff that you have to give, that you have to personally do as well. And sometimes you have to hire like a team, if not another person that specializes in certain things more than you do. And I'm like, you know something, first of all, if I go through all the effort, you know, to put this out, like how many people is really gonna, you know, sit down and read a book? Like we already know that where social media is today, people have a very short attention span. So like if you can engage in your audience past a few seconds, then you lost them. Now they keep on scrolling or they exit out of your video.
Right, right,
So we're talking about short clips of videos on social media. Now imagine writing this big thick book, you know, where all your intentions and you know the motive is in the right, your heart is in the right direction. Now you're not making an impact the way that you thought that you could have or you should have. So like I thought about that and I'm like, no, you know, when it comes to books, see, I love reading books.
right.
Like I have hundreds of books here, health, fitness,
Hmm.
empowerment, all that types of, you know,
Right.
type of
It's all
stuff
good.
that I have. But everybody's not like me. That's basically what I'm
Right,
saying.
right,
You
right,
know, although as a child I hated reading books, and it's
right.
ironic. I'm almost 40, and like you know, but anyway, I guess it takes 20 or 30 years to get there. But
Right.
anyway, so the book thing was out. So I'm like, all right, I'll do a documentary, but I don't want it to just be about me just speaking, because of course I can speak, but then again, I can just do something on YouTube and just
Right.
topic and whatever. And then I was like, no, if I'm going to do something, it's going to be something that's going to have a professional look, something to where I can have different perspectives, and then also something that can help market other entrepreneurs and stuff as well, black entrepreneurs or whatever, as well too, that that it makes sense to speak on this particular topic, you know. So I'm like, all right, that's a win-win. We can market what you have going on, plus you can speak from your expertise and your experience in this film that I'm creating. So I just went ahead and, you know, just reach out to certain people. Word got out. Um, Bunch of people reached out to me, showing interest, but of course, everybody I didn't find suitable for this particular film. Nothing against them or anything, but as you know, like when it comes to anything that I do, it has to be a certain level. Like I hold myself to a certain level, and
Right.
that's pretty much with anything. And I think that, you know, sometimes kind of hinders me too, because sometimes I put something on the shelf and like I'm like, no, I'm waiting for the perfect time. But like in actuality, there's really no perfect time or no perfect way of doing something, especially when you aspire to do something that you never done before. So sometimes you just have to step into the darkness and like with just some courage and just be like, look, listen, I'm gonna just start doing something, and I'm just gonna keep on building onto it. So, but yeah, I was inspired, and again, going back to the time where I was in this room with a bunch of people. We just all conversate, and I said, look, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and just hearing that laughter, that laughter, and of a crowd of people. Like, to me, that's like, no, something. And again, I don't care about what people think to a degree. Again, back to that. But the laughter still rings in my head when it's like, no, something, you have to prove yourself right. Don't care about proving them wrong, but you have to prove yourself right. So I'm like, all right, well, I said that I was going to do everything else. I accomplished many of those things, and this is something else that I have to accomplish as well too. So we're just putting this thing out
Mm-hmm.
as a way to help people, because again, like, people, like, I've been on the phone with people for hours, counseling them, coaching them, and people generally have the same inquiries when it comes to I don't like to say weight loss, but we can say weight loss. So when we say weight, we're talking about the bone mass, we're talking about body fat, we're talking about muscle, that whole thing. So now all that consists of weight. But when we talk about body fat burn and everything else that comes along with that, I think people generally have the same questions, but sometimes the questions are presented in a way that, kind of in a different way, from you as a professional, like, understand things. Because again, people are, I need to lose weight. All right, you need to lose weight. So you're telling me that you want to lose body fat and your butt? A lot of women, and they're like, oh, no, 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 no. I never actually asked them that, but they're like, look, I want to lose my stomach but keep my butt, or I want to lose, guys, I want to, like, slim down, but I want to maintain my muscle mass. So when we're talking about body fat burn, that's really what we're talking about, trying to build a physique and get rid of the ugly stuff, or what we perceive to be ugly, or whatever. So with the documentary, we actually explore that and go into detail and answer all those questions that a lot of people who have reached out to me over the years, have asked me. So, like, to me, and like, a lot of times my wife, she'll even tell you, she would get mad when I'm counseling somebody and I'm taking forever, because clearly, when you're passionate about something, like, time's not even a factor.
Right.
You go over time. You tell me we got 45 minutes, you give me the mic and I'll be talking for the next 2 3 hours.
Right. Right.
But which I want to do in respect to your time, and, like, other things I have to do too. But so this film, is an embodiment of all of the questions, again, that we commonly hear, not just myself, but yourself as well too, being in the profession and stuff that you're in, and we just get those knocked out, and we, talk about the importance not just of sculpting the body of your dreams, not just burning body fat and thinking that we're going to replace body fat with muscle, which is kind of like a myth or whatever. But we explore some of the myths, and we explain the importance of eating properly, and we explain, the importance of fighting, for better options in some of the disenfranchised communities, Black communities, and even Latino communities, and even poor white communities as well throughout America, where the options are very limited. So you're not going to get the same options of the Whole Foods and the Trader Joe's and the Wegmans and all these other places in Southside Chicago, or in North Philadelphia, or in certain parts of Camden or whatever. You have to actually travel out, and sometimes, or not even sometimes, but most times, we don't have access to that, or we have to take 2 and 3 trains or buses or whatever to get to that. About the time we get back, we're exhausted. So, like, come on, I'm running to the produce store a few times a week. So you mean to tell me if I'm limited to transportation, I have to spend 2 and 3 hours between traveling or whatever, probably 2 times a week. Because granted, we can't like stock up on produce because it's natural. There's no preservatives or whatever, and cauliflower and all that stuff.
Right. That stuff
Those
is gonna
stuff's
go
gonna
bad
go rot.
ASAP if you don't use it.
Gonna go bad, yeah. So that's the thing. So like even speaking or addressing it from the political standpoint, to where we need to start getting, our local politicians more involved in trying to bring, better options for us in our communities. We explore that too. So there, it's greater than weight loss or body fat burn, like this film. So, and again, from where I started off, the visions grew. So I'm like, hold on, we need to address this or we need to address that. And every time I go, to Philadelphia, which is only an hour from me, or I'll go to New York, which is 2 hours or 2.5 hours, depending on traffic from me. I live right outside of Atlantic City. I live in the suburb of Atlantic City, New Jersey. So, that's like just 20 minutes, away from me too. But from the smallest cities to the biggest cities to the smallest towns to more of the larger counties or whatever, like we see the difference between the inequality to living and eating healthy versus where you're likely to find more of the higher rates of the high blood pressure and the heart disease and the cancers and the diabetes and even the Mickey D's and all that other stuff. Look, listen, you're not in it's funny to me because like when I'm in certain places, I point out to my wife, like, all right, well, what do you see the just say the local fish fry shop or the local fried chicken shop in this community. You don't see it, but again, you see the other high class places or places where you can walk into the store and everything is fresh there. Versus where again you go to the inner city and not just the fast food restaurants, but there's liquor stores in almost every corner, almost every other corner, or every other corner, within a certain radius, of residential living. So again, like we explore that, and I come from that. So beings though that I lived this experience and not an outer body experience of this, but I actually lived this experience, and I have lost family members and stuff due to diseases and illnesses, but I like to say diseases, because of our ignorance and stuff. I think it's about time that we, start pulling our resources together and we start educating our community because this is the only way that we're going to live. Like from the outside looking in, if you look at our communities, we have different ethnic groups from around the world, but they set up in our communities, and economically we are their base to what they serve us. So all right, Chinese food. And I remember where I had a friend, one of my good friends in high school, he was from China or whatever, but his parents owned a Chinese restaurant. And I remember talking to him, and this is something that always stuck with me. But I remember talking to him, and I was telling him, I was like, man, you must be lucky. You come home to all this good Chinese food and all this other stuff, man. Like your parents, man, you living a life. Because I love Chinese food, or what I thought is Chinese food. And he said to me, he was like, look, man, he was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. The food that we serve y'all, the customers, we don't eat that at home. He was like, we don't eat any of this stuff. He was like, our food is like healthier. So like at that time, like I wasn't health conscious, but it was still a thought that stuck with me at least for the next 20 years. So that just goes to show you that, when it comes to economics and stuff, it's not in our best interest, or it's not in other people's best interest, especially people that's coming here, to America for economic gain and for economic freedom and stuff like that. When they set up in our communities, if we're all eating healthy and you got a Chinese restaurant, All right, now the numbers aren't there anymore. Now you're losing money. Or if you have like, you know, I don't know, an Arabic restaurant or something like that, or an Indian restaurant, whatever, set up in our community, well, guess what? You're going to be losing money. So economically, it doesn't make sense. So where are you going to go? Because again, you can't take these same places that you can economically thrive off the Black communities. You can't take these places, other places, in white America, because they're not into that. They're into more of the healthier things. And granted, not everybody's healthy, but you can be rich and still be, but that's the thing. So again, with this film, we address all those things, man. Every last one of those things to some degree. And who knows, depending on the performance of this film, we probably might be looking at a part two, and then hopefully, God willing, a series.
Okay, cool, man. Um, and you all can hear the passion that he has for it. So it's not a scheme of, oh, let me put this out and get $1 off of it. This man has lived it. He's gone through the experiences. He's crossed his T's and dotted his I's, and is connecting the dot and the correlation between obesity and economic levels, geographic areas, as far as um, where it's at in your cities in regards to higher blood pressure rates, death rates as in a result of in regards to how it lines up with healthy eating, and the accessibility to fresh foods. And so the passion is there. So when it is released, I want you all to support it and go out and support it, because health is wealth, and that is that's very important. And again, this is pretty much how me and Lionel got hooked up one way or another, is through this thing called health. And being that June is Men's Health Month, what does that mean to you? And what are you doing to observe it and inspire other men?
Well, Men's Health Month, to me, I think is I think it's important to have certain observations to where it becomes something traditional. And just like anything else, like Juneteenth, first of all, you should be living healthy every day. You should be, conscious and always in remembrance every single day. But unfortunately, with life, we tend to forget certain things, or we tend to fall off. And to be able to have a whole month dedicated to, all right, for the next 28, 29, 30 days, we're going to take a time to understand the importance of uh, uh, what we're observing. I think that's very important, because it's just like repetition or habits. When they become into habits, because small steps, but when they become into habits, it takes a certain period of time of repetition before it actually manifests into habits. Now, after you become your habits, you don't have to consciously think, all right, well, I need to go and eat healthier. I need to go for this walk, because today is the day that I normally walk. Um, or I don't need to guess what I'm going to be eating tonight, battling between something unhealthy or something healthy. I think, having a whole month dedicated to men and the health and the well-being of men is important, because if you never observed it before, and your friend tells you, look, next month is Men's Health Month, I know you're just starting your journey. This is something that I think that you should partake in, because it could help you in the long run. I think, having 28, 29 days to do that now, again, now, when you once started off as, all right, this is the first step, all right, the second step, all right, well, I did good in the last 2 days. Now, this is day 3. Now you get to day 29. Now it becomes more of, all right, I got to live this every single day. Oh, shoot. July 3rd, I forgot to do this. All right, well, I know I forgot to do something, because like my spirit was telling me, all right, well, you're missing something, or you're lacking something. And that's all because like you kind of went out of that routine that you was able to develop over the last month of June being the month of Men's Health Month. So I think it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, with that or any other month or holiday that we celebrate for a particular cause. What I do, well, of course, is important to me because it's kind of ironic, almost in a sense, but I actually started my journey, in the summer month that's close to June, you know. So like as I remember the start of my journey every single year, again, that's just like all within the same time. So to me personally, that's something that historically means something to me. But what I do to support it is I just live my life every single day, and I reach out, I have conversations, with men and women every single day, whether it's in the gym, whether it's on the phone call, whether it's through text, whether it's email, whether it's social media, whatever. I do that every single day, and that's all because I was able to understand the health and the importance of the health and well-being of myself. And I'm a man. I'm nothing other than uh, a male. I'm a black heterosexual male. So anything that would affect me um, health wise, I first, before I was able to help out anybody else, I had to study myself. And again, I'm a man, and I noticed a lot of people that I was helping out, well, other males and stuff too, because it's like, look, if you're wearing a shirt and you're looking good or whatever, and like we're out, and I don't even have to know you, but I know it's all love. I might be like, yo, bro, you looking kind of nice, man. I like that shirt. Where you get it from, whatever. We tend to have that respect and that love, for somebody that we could kind of identify ourselves with. So we give those, the props and stuff to, or some of I think more of us going to start doing it, but me myself, that's what I do. And again, going back to the Men's Health Month, when I started seeing results, a lot of the people that I were helping out were males, and then women came. But just every single day, man, I just live it every single day. Be honest with you, uh, although like I acknowledge it, like Men's Health Month for me is every single month, 12 months out of the year. But again, I'm just glad that we were able to have a month because, with all this toxic masculinity and all that other, nonsense going on, I think, when we do have a month to be like, something, I got to get back on track, and kind of combat this whole anti heterosexual male thing. uh, I think the month of June really makes sense for other political reasons, which I really don't want to get into because, of course, controversy. But we celebrate other things during the month of June as well. So I just kind of find that ironic as well too. But just to again to encourage each other and to uplift each other and really starting with our health because, like you said, health is wealth. And like to me, uh without your health, man, like you're cutting yourself short. And we all want to just live as long as we can. And if we don't look at it from that perspective, a lot of us, we tend to become victim to our early demise or whatever. So just taking this time to commemorate it, and again to uplift one another rather than, like I said, being out there gang banging or doing something else that's not productive, you know, to the health and well-being, of us being men, particularly black men. It's just a waste of time, man. We might as well just do, like anyway, that's just a waste of time. But um, yeah.
No, I got you. I got you. Yeah, all your points that you hit were on point, and I was more, what I would say, shocked, or I think I was probably just more shocked at myself that I didn't know early enough in regards to Men's Health Month. That June was Men's Health Month.
Mm.
That's how I ended up starting. What I interviewed Dr. Robert Singleton last week. I just scrolling through IG and he was like, in honor of Men's Health Month. And then like I kind of got like blacked out after that because I'm like, wow, you know, uh, men have a month to themselves, kind of going back to what you were talking about, this attack on masculinity, just the attack on men. You feel that, you feel like, your voice is actually being muffled more and more and more. And I'm just talking about just a regular, just, male voice. I'm not talking about the male voice who has the caveman method, who wants to, grab their spouse by their hair and drag them. Like, no, we're just saying just a regular conversation. Like you do feel as a man that your voice is being suppressed. You are the you you are the smoke in the air that's harming somebody's lungs, right? It does seem that way from a male's point of view, that we are the world's problem. The world has many problems, no matter your gender, no matter your religion, no matter the color of your skin. The world has had issues before you, during you, and after you. And these are all facts. So, just with that being said, Men's Health Month, when I was notified just about that, and that's the glory of social media, right? You get to learn something positive, right? And it made me just open my eyes to look more introspective into myself about, what am I really doing? Am I really living uh, what I preach? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And just to be honest about that, even from a pride standpoint, as far as a man, uh, you want to be the biggest, you want to be the baddest, and you have to understand it's like that's not going to be the case all the time. Hey, I want to be the most fit. Hey, I want to be the most strong. You can be the most fit, the most strong for you, right? And just with that being said, I think it's a good thing that there's becoming more of a recognizable platform to be on in regards to recognizing Men's Health Month. And I'm just trying to just do my part and to illuminating some of the men in my life that has inspired me. Because there's nothing wrong with giving a compliment to another man from a standpoint, if you're confident in yourself and there's no maliciousness behind it. Because the only way you get any type of progression is if you ask. Like you said, hey man, those are some nice shoes, where'd you get those from? I'm like, oh, okay. You might see a guy who's my size, my height, and wear the same size shoe that I wear, that is very rare to get, or to find. I'm trying to find information like, hey, I like those shoes. What size? I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Hey, it's hard to find shoes in my size. Then you become that becomes a conversation piece, and you may end up gaining an extra friend through just a relationship of just talking. So it does not have to be all of this stereotypical men versus men, black men versus black men, as if we have a problem with each other. No, so just even with that being said, I think that's a very an additional part, well, a very big part in addition to Men's Health Month. And even with that being said, it's kind of a trick question. Uh, but what is the most important part of your fitness journey, if you could pick one? Your diet or your exercise?
Or diet, absolutely diet. Everything is based on what you eat, and ideally we're supposed to eat according to our lifestyle, so if you're moving less, you eat less.
Right, right,
Moving
right.
more, ideally you eat more, but it all boils down to what we're putting in our body.
I got you. And I see
Uh,
you do a lot of cooking, just as
oh yeah.
well as I do a lot of cooking. My formal background was, I've been in the food industry since probably about, I'll say 15 officially. I'll say 15 officially. Um, and just I'm maybe about 6, 7 years removed from actually working in the food industry. So just with that being said, that's where I learned a lot of my cooking, but just as well as learning underneath the guise of my mother and my grandmother. What is your favorite meal to prep, and what is your least favorite meal to prep?
My favorite meal is kind of hard. So like I would say, what I eat mostly, I guess that would be the favorite because like we eat whatever, but I have many dishes that I like. So I'll just say a couple. My favorite meal, I like scrambled eggs. I'm basic scrambled eggs, some avocados, or chicken breast, avocados, and vegetables or something like that. But of course, that's boring, especially to people that think that eating healthy has to be hard. You can get very creative. Like for example, another one of my favorites is a cauliflower pizza that my wife likes to make as well too. So you know, eating healthy doesn't have to like it really boils down to you. And I think we're most creative when we want the success, but we know that we have to eat better than what we're currently eating. So like a lot of times in the beginning, we try to find ways to mock the foods that are classified as unhealthy and find some replacements or some alternatives, to the foods that's going to help us to get from here to there, But to answer your question, the least favorite, uh, the least favorite would I guess would be what used to be my favorite before. I guess like McDonald's or something. Like I can't even remember the last time I had McDonald's. Now, granted, like I would have like a bite of like my wife's if she would eat that, but she doesn't even eat that. We kind of grown together with this whole thing here, but the least favorite, I guess, it would be like something greasy because like to be honest with you, I tried to have something I used to eat before. Maybe it was McDonald's or something, but because our taste buds, just like everything else, the cells in our body, it's just constantly changing. Um, because like my taste buds change when I tried to go down that road again, just bite whatever. I remember I ended up vomiting because I had a bad taste in my mouth and my stomach felt um uh uh uneasy, and I remember vomiting. So I guess the least favorite would be something off the menu on McDonald's, I guess.
I got you. I got you. And yeah, once you start going through those changes with your diet, that in turn does result into different physical transformations, just as well. They all go hand in hand. And then when you try to, step back into the world that once was, that you once lived, you may not have that same type of result or far as feeling results as, it went down fine and, you're cool. You may have an adverse effect, like you said, I almost threw up, or you pretty much did throw up, and you're like, I don't want to go down that route anymore. So I totally get it. With that being said, on the flip side, since I asked you, what's more important in your fitness journey, your diet or your exercise, what is your favorite exercise or your least favorite exercise? And you can break that down by your favorite muscle group to train versus your least favorite muscle group to train.
All right, well, I'll put it to you like this. Um, I can't say I really don't have a favorite because I guess again, uh, what I find myself looking forward to more versus what I tend to be less likely excited about would be all right. So this is kind of weird because this is like a love and hate thing. I hate doing legs, but training legs is my favorite for some reason. Because, like, be honest with you, of course, we're targeting the lower body, but that's actually more of a full body exercise because you're activating all your muscles.
Now, is it the thought process of doing legs?
I
And
thought,
then when you get into it, you're like, oh man, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this today. And then you look up and it's like an hour and a half has gone by. You're like, okay, I
yeah,
need to stop just for the mere fact that I have somewhere else to go, but I
yeah,
don't want to stop because it's feeling good.
yeah, yeah. So that's absolutely what it is. Um, but once you start, because again, like getting up to the I'm like doing legs. Ah, damn, I got to
Yeah, 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 yeah.
start, and you're like, shoot. So, but out of all of the exercises, leg exercises, I hate doing. And I think a lot of people would agree with me. I hate doing lunges, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
I like that feeling.
I am
I
the
hate it.
exact same way, bro. I hate the thought process of doing legs. And usually with my clientele, I'll jump in. with them with their workouts, just to get that camaraderie going and, just get that workout vibe. So this past Thursday, I had like back-to-back clients and we had back-to-back leg
Yeah.
sessions. There are two totally different exercises, but the thought process the day before, I was like, I don't feel like doing this. I was just all the way up to the point of their workout. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna find a way to chicken out. You know what I mean? One way or another. And I tell myself this every single day. But for some reason, in the middle of instructing them, saying, hey, this is the position that you want your feet in, how your back should be, all everything like that. And then you bust out your first set. You're like, all right, cool. That ain't that bad. You know what I mean? And then you keep going, going and going and going and going. And it's just so funny. You just said about lunges. We had barbell lunges. I've been incorporating those back again. I used to do a lot of running back when I had first lost my weight, and I realized that lunges helped with the speed of the stride as far as with my legs, and just learning how to just rebuild my legs back up right now again in 2021. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go heavy with these lunges. And I found myself wanting to just go heavy with the lunges because I could do more. I could do more and do more and do more. But I'm totally with you in regards to the thought process of legs before. And you're like, okay, I need to do this because there's so many, I think with all body parts, there's so many different variances of exercises that you can do, whether you go in isolation or compound. Where are you going to use cables? Are you going to use body weight? Are you going to use barbells? And they all can be interchanged. How many sets? How many reps? Are you following the power building fire strategy? It becomes very intricate, but at the same time it could be fun because you keep switching it, back and forth. So yeah, I totally get it when you said legs, because I just literally just came off of doing legs. Literally, matter of fact, I had 2 sessions in one day, and then the following day it was my client, another client, he had his legs, and so it was just like literally three leg sessions in a matter of 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just with that being said, man, we're gonna get you out of here, and we appreciate you stopping by the Success Fitness Podcast. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media, your websites, if you have any products out as far as like ebooks or an additional books or whatever. Let everybody know where they can find you at and follow you at, and go for it, man.
First of all, again, I just want to acknowledge you and all the great things that you're doing, and you've been having me on your platform. I really appreciate that. I acknowledge the fact that I seen your growth as well, and it played a role in helping me to be re-inspired and be inspired as well, too. And the fact that we're both, young Black men doing something positive, that's inspiring, not just men, not just Black men, but other men and other women, and even up and coming young men and women as well too, because again, when it comes to mainstream media, we're kind of put in a certain box, where we're limited to be anything other than what the narrative is being written about us. But to be able to control your own platform and to control your own voice, that is a very, very, very powerful thing. And to do what you're doing, and do what guys like myself is doing as well, is very telling to the truth. So again, like I appreciate you, and I appreciate you having me on here. Now, I didn't get a chance to uh, announce when the film was actually going to be released. You asked me earlier. Now, originally I wanted it to be for June, but now we're going to push it back probably until after the summer. But I'm gonna have actually an official release date on that. So if you want to have me back on your platform, we can, definitely set that up. Uh, but yeah, I could be found, first and last name, Lionell Dixon, on social media, or Lonnie Fresh, LONNIE, and then Fresh on social media, Lonnie Fresh 84 on Instagram. But you just type in Lonnie Fresh or whatever, go to Google, and all this stuff will come up. So whichever platform that you're on, that you want to follow me on, or even just connect to me, just feel free to reach out, whatever. I'm easily accessible, whatever. I'm not arrogant, cocky, or anything like that, and I'm still learning. I don't know every single thing. I know enough that got me here, but again, like I'm an open dude, whatever, and clearly my passion is in it. So what you see is what you get. Definitely nothing more than that, and definitely nothing less.
I got you. I got you, man. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you stopping by, and man, just keep inspiring. This social media, I'll call it a game, uh, because some things I'm starting to see on how information is displayed, content is displayed. It reminds me of a video game. It reminds me of legit Mario Brothers, but just in a different format. I said all that to say is that it's tough to rise to the top naturally, and when you actually have passion for it, and you're not scheming, you're not trying to sell some product because somebody has paid you to, hey, hold this product up here because we know you have a following or whatever. You're passionate, you're truthful, and you're caring, man, and that says a lot. That says a lot in today's game, and to be consistent at it. We have our ups and downs, like we talked before the recording of the show, about just sticking with it, despite sometimes you have a time where you don't feel like record, you don't feel like doing this, or it's just become so much. Even when you talked about earlier about in order to actually publicize a book, which I'm familiar with back in when I was like 23, 24, is that there's certain things that, hey, I'm going to have a team for. And that's not what I really thought I was doing this for. And then there's certain political things that you have to do in order to get that said product out. And it kind of takes the air out of your balloon when you want to do something. It's like, no, I'm good. But in order to still go through that and still be here to this very day is a testament, man. And you know what? I'm glad that whatever I did in regarding to this recording to re-inspire you, because it's just giving that energy back that you put out, that you inspired me. So, man, I appreciate it, man. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Man, I can't thank you enough. And we will definitely have you back on when the obesity, America's, you say others problem, America's other problem, will be, yeah. You say it again?
Obesity, America's other enemy.
America's other enemy. When obesity, America's other enemy, will be released, we'll definitely have you back on. I'll make sure I'll link you in the description and here. Just put some text down so where people can follow you on IG and go from there. And happy Juneteenth to you and your family. Wish you much prosperity and health, finances, spiritually, and your marriage and everything. And to all those who are listening, happy Juneteenth to you. Please do your research and understand this is the official day of full freedom where everyone in America is free. So thank you for tuning in to the Success Fitness Podcast. And until the next episode, please remember, success fitness is the mindset. Success is golden. Peace out.
Peace.